Are you ready to do good, feel good, and buy pie? Slice of Life, Food and Friends' annual Thanksgiving pie sale is back. It's the sweetest way and the easiest way to give back this holiday season. Every pie purchased provides one full day of free medically tailored meals to a neighbor living with serious illnesses like HIV, AIDS, or cancer. Order your pie by November 19th at sliceoflifedc.org. That's sliceoflifedc.org.
Today on CityCast DC, since Election Day is almost here, you might be feeling all kinds of election-related anxiety. So take your mind off of that with CityCast DC's endorsements for which celebrities could run our city. And if you're wanting updates and analysis from our actual election, we've got our Election Day coverage episode dropping later in the day, around 6 a.m. on Wednesday. Today is Monday, November 4th. I'm Bridget Todd, and here's what DC is talking about. Hey, Mike and Priyanka. It is nice to be here with y'all.
Hey, Bridget.
Hi. I'm excited about this. I feel like so much of the mood in the city right now is doom and gloom, election stress, and I'm happy to be here with you talking about something a little more fun today.
I hear endorsements could kill our business.
No, only if we don't make them. That's why we're doing this, Mike.
Okay, fine.
Well, Priyanka, it sounds like you're feeling a lot of election anxiety. Mike, are you feeling the same way?
Oh, I think the entire world is feeling election anxiety. I mean, literally the entire world, because the United States has that kind of pull.
Totally.
For now.
But do you think it's more acute here in DC? I've already seen some businesses putting boards up on their windows in the city and things like that. Do you think it feels different here in DC versus a different kind of city?
I mean, yes, I do. I mean, I think for on a personal level, just a lot of people's livelihoods have to do with the direction of the government. So, particularly this year with Trump talking about firing civil servants and relocating parts of the government, that affects people's real lives. In addition to all the people who are in one party or the other, and their jobs would change as a result of who wins, and they, presumably a lot of them work in government or politics because they care about policy. There's also the physical safety thing, which I think the more supposedly sophisticated people are less worried about that because the nature of our elections is that at least around election day, the crazy stuff is going to happen in some county seat somewhere in Georgia, not here. But I think if nothing else, the last few years have suggested that the supposedly sophisticated people maybe don't know what they're talking about, and if you owned a store, you might want to not trust them too.
Yeah, I just feel like so many unprecedented things have happened in the last few years that anything that feels logical also feels questionable. So, the anxiety is just escalating because of that. I also do agree that it's different here. Every single day, the election comes up in my conversations with people. And I was talking to some friends in other cities in the U.S. and just asking them if that's the case for them. And they were not even close, not even a little close.
Well, if folks are still looking for information on the election and coverage and the different topics that are going to be on the ballot this year, you can check out some of our previous programming. We've done episodes about I-83, what happens if Trump wins in DC versus if Harris wins, or check out our live taping on the Trayon White situation. Also, we did an episode about election security, which I think really feeds into what you all were just talking about, how folks should be thinking about staying safe on Election Day. It's all pretty heavy. So if you're I'm feeling anxious, let's just keep it light. That is what today's episode is all about.
Yes, if you want the heavy stuff, it'll be in the show notes. But the rest of today's episode is going to be fun.
So think of this as our hypothetical CityCast DC celebrity endorsements. Let's do it. Let's start high level. Who do you all think is DC's celebrity mayor or should be DC's celebrity mayor?
What does that even mean?
A celebrity who would be a good mayor for DC, would fit the vibe and would have policies that the city would agree with.
Priyanka, for some reason, I feel like you've got somebody specific in mind.
I do. And I was actually low-key, I'm kind of expecting that you might have brought the same person, Bridget, because I remember us talking in the past about how you love Taraji P. Henson, right?
Oh my God, yes.
Is that who you brought?
It isn't, but I'm going to switch my endorsement. I think people don't talk about her as a DC figure enough, even though she does weigh in on DC issues.
Yeah, and she's such a DC person. She was born in DC. She was born in Southeast. She went to Howard. Something that I learned about her in prepping for this episode is that while she was at Howard, she like paid her way through college by working as a secretary at the Pentagon, which is like just like such a DC role to play, and also like just like hustling, you know what I mean? And then like one of her most prominent films is Hidden Figures, which also feels pretty DC to me.
But what are her feelings about bike lanes?
Fair enough. I will have to give her a call and get back to you.
Because according to some very vocal people on social media, it is the single most important issue of all time.
That's fair. I think Taraji would be good about listening to the people. I just get that vibe from her. So that's my endorsement.
Where does she live, like day to day?
I don't know.
Probably not DC. I have to fact check this. I remember during the summer of 2020 when we were all having conversations about like racial injustice, she was talking about how she wants, either she planned on prompting him to go or he was going. Her son was going to go to Howard like she went to. And so I if that actually ended up coming to fruition, I think she has a son who goes to college in DC. I could see her having like a little pied-a-terre on U Street or something.
Yeah, I just looked it up. She lives in LA, but she's a very proud Washingtonian. Like I think a lot of people who grew up in the DMV and then left don't talk about it very much, aren't like proud Washingtonians, you know what I mean? And Taraji is. Like she does talk about it, and she talks about her time at Howard fondly.
Hey, you guys have convinced me.
Oh, wow, that was easy.
I mean, the thing of celebrity in Washington is like such a funny place. Like you're accustomed to seeing like, oh, I saw some senator or the Secretary of State or something at a restaurant. But even like the most medium wattage Hollywood figure, when seen here, it's really exciting, right? Because we don't have that many of them walking around. So like for years, Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, was like this local celebrity, like well after her Wonder Woman years were gone, because she actually, lived here, married someone, moved here, their life was here. So but we don't actually have that many, like, I mean, I think the number of people in Hollywood A-lists who could tell you roughly where Ward 7 is located is probably very small.
I feel like Taraji P. Henson is on that list.
Do you think we should write her and ask her that?
Yeah, I guess we have to.
Dear Ms. Henson, I am a big fan. Could you please tell me where Ward 7 is and autograph this picture? Sincerely, Bridget.
That's it. That's the whole letter. I love it.
Mike, do you have someone in mind as DC celebrity mayor? Or maybe you're rejecting the premise.
No, I love the premise. And in fact, there is like a history in DC of going outside the political system in search of mayors. Like Tony Williams had never had elected office before. He was a, brilliant bureaucrat. Sharon Pratt was, she had been run a utility, and they were sort of around politics, but they, in both cases, sort of presented themselves as this, like, I'm from outside the system and I'm clean and so on. So I think it's actually not that weird that somebody who's got name recognition based on something else, but could come in and say, like, I haven't been doing deals with all these people, I'll knock some heads together, that it's actually historically been a pretty effective pitch in DC.
So did you have someone in mind?
Whenever I hear celebrity in DC, I think of Wonder Woman.
Ooh, imagine the pull that we would get if Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, was our mayor.
That'd be pretty fun.
That'd be huge. If Trump's waging war on DC, she could fight it off with her lasso of truth.
She had those bracelets. I love Wonder Woman. My vote is split. I don't know. Taraji P. Henson, Wonder Woman, I don't know.
Uh-oh. Well, are we reconsidering that, or are we going for Taraji?
I'm with you guys. You convinced me, Priyanka.
Okay. Fabulous. Taraji it is.
She could point Wonder Woman chief of police.
Oh my God, yes. They would work so well together.
They really would. I would watch this movie.
Let's be real, lawsuits are not fun. But with Christopher Nace and the trial lawyers at Paulson and Nace, at least they're a little easier. Paulson and Nace is a DC law firm in every sense of the word. It was founded here in 1979. Partner Chris Nace is a local who cares deeply about the DC community, even serving on the board of the local branch of the Living Classrooms Foundation in his free time. Nace and his associates, Samantha Peters, John Reese, and Maya Perry, handle medical malpractice, wrongful death, and other complex injury cases. And they don't just settle every case. They'll go to court. They'll fight for you. Paulson and Nace has even been recognized as one of Best Lawyers' best law firms. So if you have been hurt or lost a loved one because of someone else's mistake or negligence, call Paulson and Nace for a no-obligation consultation. Visit www.paulsonandnace.com or call 202-463-1999.
Who says you have to start New Year's resolutions in the new year? There is no time like the present to embark on a new goal, like learning a new language. The Alliance Française of Washington, D.C. offers language courses tailored to every level. The winter session starts on December 4th, and if you enroll by November 8th, you'll receive a $20 discount. So if you've ever dreamed of ordering your morning cafe in perfect French or discussing art and history with ease, now is your chance. But it's not just about the language courses. A membership with the Alliance Française of Washington, D.C. brings you into a vibrant community that celebrates all things French. You get exclusive access to cultural events, wine tastings, film screenings, and more. Visit www.francedc.org to start your journey. And don't forget, sign up by November 8th and you'll get $20 off tuition when you enroll. So Mike was talking about how when you see any kind of local celebrity around in DC, it's like very exciting. And if you were to think about who you would want a local chef to be in charge of DCPS's school lunches, I gotta go with Carla Hall, who y'all might remember from Top Chef. And the reason is I used to spend a lot of time at the Whole Foods in Silver Spring, and I would see Carla in there all the time, and she was always so nice. She signed a cookbook for me once. She's the nicest. So I gotta go Carla Hall for DC's celebrity local chef to be in charge of all DC's food and beverage needs.
Ooh, interesting. I actually don't know much about Carla Hall. Like, what kind of food does she make and stuff?
Carla Hall's most popular dishes are sort of like Southern inspired. She has a vegan Southern collard green, a curry chicken salad, black-eyed peas salad, a 4-cheese mac and cheese, which I've actually made, a sweet tea soda. So she does sort of like Southern inspired, but like healthy-ish foods.
And kid-friendly, sounds like.
You guys clearly don't have children. You know what kind of mac and cheese my kids like? They like one cheese mac and cheese. They would like no cheese mac and cheese better.
Okay, that's fair.
Just noodles and olive oil?
Or just noodles. I think that this whole premise is, we like chefs because we are adults and incredibly sophisticated people, clearly, because they're going to bring us challenging and interesting food, which would make them disastrous running a school lunch menu. I was thinking that maybe it's the people behind like Cafe Milano, which is like, it's like a place where the power scene goes, but it's, well, one joke I'd heard is like bad food for bad people. But the point is, it is not at all chefy or pretentious. And like, I remember once interviewing Franco Ncasi, the owner, who was saying, yeah, if like someone comes in here and wants something that's not on the menu, of course we'll make it for them. The customer's always right. And it was this very, which is not, we're now trained to go into chefy restaurants and like the customer's always wrong and the chef's going to tell us what to like. The other approach is much better when it comes to making a menu that children will actually want to eat.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to nominate Giovanna Uriola, who is the chef behind Cafe Unido, and now she's at Colada Shop, because those places I feel like have a lot of low-key, bite-sized, not pretentious, but absolutely delicious foods. Cafe Unido has one of my favorite breakfasts in the whole city. It's their breakfast burrito, and it has crispy rice in it and eggs and a really yummy sauce, but like it's not too spicy or anything. Like I feel... Again, I don't have kids, so Mike, you let me know. But I feel like that is an inoffensive breakfast option that kids would like.
Not as inoffensive as Cheerios.
We're not going to find a chef that just serves up Cheerios, though.
Dry Cheerios eaten one by one from a plastic baggie.
Yeah.
That's what kids want.
Lucky Charms.
I mean, I guess that's the question is what is the goal of a school lunch? Is it to just find a way to sneak nutrition into these people? Or is it to actually teach them about the wonder and diversity of the world?
You think we can't do both?
I'm just saying, I can't do both.
And you are a good cook. I do remember
because
that.
I'm a foodie too. And like, maybe it's like inheritable, but not until later in life. I don't know.
Okay, what if we say like high school chef?
Yeah, that might be a better call.
Okay, so we've got Carla Hall and Giovanna Uriola. I guess, yeah, which one do you think is better for high school students?
Oh, Giovanna.
Yeah, I was gonna say Carla. I'm leaning Carla. Something about Bridget's pitch was very compelling to me.
She's just a very nice lady, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, she was a fan favorite on the show. I've seen her around town. I endorse her.
The nice lunch lady.
Yeah, she's got like high class, and I mean this is a compliment, high class lunch lady vibes, like in the sweetest way. Remember the sweetest lunch lady in your school? She has that energy in a good way.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about vibe. I don't know what Giovanna's vibe is like, so I guess that's another point for Carla. Also, like Southern-ish feels like the right cuisine for DC public schools.
Oh, producer Julia is also chiming in that Carla is also a Howard grad. So I could see this being a cabinet like Taraji P. Henson, Carla Hall.
And Wonder Woman, who also went to Howard.
Okay, so let's say that Carla Hall or Taraji P. Henson is, they're running for office. Who do you think should be in charge of the music they walk out to? You know how every campaign has their Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow or whatever song they're using for their campaign song? Who do you think in DC should be writing the walk-on music?
Well, you guys remember during the Democratic Convention when all of the states kind of picked their own music for their roll call thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I was there in person.
You were there in person, right? So I was thinking, DC missed an opportunity, given the name of the vice presidential candidate, to use the classic Rare Essence song, Work the Walls.
Ooh.
However, given the song subject seems to be people who push their hands against the wall while shaking their butts in front of a camera.
Yeah. Potentially inappropriate.
For the people we're talking about as potential mayors, this might be not a great look.
Yeah, agreed. I immediately thought of the band Oh He Dead. Are y'all familiar with them?
I am.
Yeah. Well, actually, of course you are, because they won our CityCast 6 award last year. But I had found them, I think, actually, when I was originally doing research for who should write our CityCast DC theme music. I had stumbled across Oh He Dead. So this was a few years ago. And honestly, they were too busy at the time to do it. Like, I did reach out to them, but they were busy like getting ready for a tour, so they couldn't help us out. But I love their music. I think it's got like a good hype to it. They also won a Whammy last year, which is like the local music awards. They described their sound as like a mix of soul, funk, folk, and rock. The lead singer grew up in DC. All of them currently live in DC. And I read recently that they're trying to like up the go-go influence in their sound. So they just feel very local to me, but also like have that kind of hype vibe that you want for walk-on music. So that's my endorsement.
I'm going to switch what I was going to say to that, because I think that is a quintessentially local DC story of a band who like gets DC's sound a little bit and is trying to incorporate it. I like that.
I think given the state of the city, you can't not do go-go. Sorry.
Yeah? So you're thinking like Trouble Funk or?
Oh, yeah. No, we would have Big Tony. We'd consult with him. And
our best friend, Big Tony.
Our best friend. Yeah.
Okay, so like our options are Oh He Dead or Big Tony from famous go-go band Trouble Funk.
I think I got to go Big Tony. I think Mike is right that it has to be something that is like a quintessential DC city sound.
Okay, fair enough. I still really love Oh He Dead, but I understand where y'all are coming from.
They could collab.
That would be amazing. That'd be amazing.
So it's election night. You've got a watch party coming up. Tensions are high. Anticipation is high. What is a local venue that you think would make a great spot for your watch party?
I had such a hard time with this. I'm not going to lie. My favorite bar in the city is Green Zone, but I think it's a little too small for the watch party. So I've been struggling to think of something. What were y'all thinking?
Well, for me, I've been to many an election watch party, and I've been to some notable ones where things did not go as expected, intended, desired. So I would say my house, because I don't need anybody seeing me having a big emotional reaction in public. So I would say my house on my couch alone. is where I would want to have my watch party.
Election night is for nerds, and it's for bringing in information from multiple screens. You can't be doing that in public. You gotta be in your own home.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to see what Bridget watching an election night is like. It's iPads on my stomach, chin propped up on my elbows kind of situation on the floor. Nobody needs to see that. That's an in-home situation.
That's fair. If you're talking about multiple perspectives and stuff, Mike, it sounds like you want to go to political patties.
No, I really do not.
You really do not. I think election night with a bunch of gavels on the tables, which is what political patties, I don't know if they actually followed through, but that's what they'd said they wanted. That does sound truly chaotic.
No, and I say multiple perspectives. I mean, like, you're a person who's got a theory about the early vote in whatever state, and it's a night of insularity. It's not a night to be with human beings.
I feel like this is a very non-DC option, but I do agree with y'all. I think, so we're saying that the ideal local venue for your watch party is just your own home. Everyone just stay at home.
Or Bridget's home. Everyone go to Bridget's home.
People can come to my house.
Everyone come to Bridget's home.
I think I can fit everybody in here. The entire listenership of CityCast DC is invited.
That sounds fantastic. I mean, the whole production team, our newsletter editor, Kayla, and senior producer, Julia, and production assistant, Ash, are actually going to be spending election night at my home, where we'll be watching the results come in so that we can wake up at the crack of dawn on Wednesday to record an episode for everyone. So the home is the right choice.
Well, that's actually a great reminder that on Wednesday, after Election Day, we actually will have a late episode drop. So look out for that if you want more election takes and thoughts and results. Right, Priyanka?
Yeah. So like normally our episodes drop at 3 a.m. And I know all of you are, up at 3:01 a.m. for that drop. But this particular Wednesday, our episode will drop closer to like 6:30. We're going to try to get it out there as fast as we can. But yeah, we're waking up in the middle of the night so that we can put out the latest results for you. So yeah, just keep an eye out for it around 6:30.
And if you've still had enough of like intense, actual, like not fictionalized or speculative election stuff, then look out for our CityCast 6 election and be sure to vote in that.
Yeah, so that's like our end of year awards. Every year we pick 6 categories. And so this year the categories are politics, music, food and drink, arts and culture, business and development. And then for the first time ever, our 6th category is your local hero. So we've come up with shortlists for the first 5 categories and put out a poll, which you can find in the show notes. And then the 6th category is, like I said, local hero. So we're opening up nominations for readers of Hey DC newsletter and listeners of this podcast to recommend like your son's favorite teacher who is like really, really thoughtful about the way that they educate, or the crossing guard that always keeps you and your family safe, or your favorite bartender, like literally anyone in the community who you think is doing good and deserves recognition.
When we were tabling outside of Art All Night in Mount Pleasant, some of the kids who came gave us recordings of different people that they thought were their heroes. And it genuinely was the sweetest thing ever.
It was so cute. It was so cute. So yeah, actually, if you want to send us a voice note, you can also do that and just email it to dc@citycast.fm and maybe we'll play it out about who you're nominating for your local hero.
I foresee excruciating difficulty ahead for us in having to choose.
It's going to be hard. We've already gotten a bunch of submissions and they are all sweet. And we've gotten like 20 of them. And I'm like, how are we going to pick between these 20 local heroes? They're all amazing. So
this is why we need ranked choice voting, y'all.
So true.
That was not an endorsement of Initiative 83.
No, it absolutely wasn't. Don't tweet at me. That was just a joke. I'm not sharing how I actually feel about it.
Yeah. And if you don't get what we're talking about, that is Initiative 83, which is on the ballot this year. So if you don't know how you're voting on that, listen to the episode we did last week. It was a debate episode, and maybe it'll help you out.
Priyanka, Michael, I know who I'm voting for my local heroes, which is both of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Right back at you, Bridget.
I don't even have to wait for Election Day on that one.
That is all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed the show, share it with somebody that is a local hero in your life. We'll be back tomorrow morning with even more news from around the city. Talk to you then. She has a vegan Southern...
Is that the cat?
Yeah, sorry. She just knocked over a bunch of shit. Are you serious? Sorry.